The future look and development of Jersey's waterfront is to be reviewed following advice from a UK expert. The master plan for the area, which includes the controversial finance centre, will be looked at to see if it's still relevant. It's been a rocky 8 years for the site, which has seen protests and petitions. Jen Smith has more.
A cinema, flats and now an international finance centre. Jersey's waterfront is a substantial part of St Helier, and it's a part that's often been controversial, with protests against the Esplanade Quarter. But 8 years after the master plan was published, it's time to look at it again.
We recently had a planning inspector's appeal on one of the buildings in the finance centre, part of this site, and I think the inspector just said we should take the opportunity to update the guidance, refresh it. As I said, it's 8 years on since we approved this last, so we've had a lot go on economically and in society since then, so we're just going to take the opportunity to refresh and update.
The idea behind the original waterfront project was to rejuvenate the area, link it to the rest of town and bring St Helier back to the water's edge. So how much has it succeeded?
I'd love to have seen the original plan done on a proper basis with commercial developers that wouldn't put the public at risk. I can't give you a total vision of what could replace the current master plan, but I think we'd all like to see some joining up of the old town with this new waterfront, because as it develops, this road behind us is going to be more and more of an obstacle to the people that live and work and want to use the facilities of the waterfront.
The master plan's meant to have guided building in this area, but some, like the St Helier Waterfront Action Group, say that hasn't happened. So will a reviewed plan give them faith? They'll have until 2018 to find out. Jen Smith, BBC Channel Islands News, Jersey.
Well, earlier I asked the Environment Minister, Deputy Steve Luce, whether the original plan had been a waste of time.
There's a mix of things that have to be put into the master plan, and we're not going to change that. Tourism, homes, there's a lot of homes for Jersey people to live on the waterfront, and of course offices, which we have passed and we're starting to build. We've got amenity space to fit into that, and then of course the big question is the connectivity, the road. What are we doing with the road? In the original master plan, the entirety of the road was sunk. We're still on course for that, and we still have not passed anything which might stop that happening. But is that where we really want to go? I'm not prejudging at all, but I'm hoping that a new master plan will come out with maybe some differences, and we may move forward differently.
So it sounds after 8 years, you're literally going back to the drawing board?
Oh, absolutely not. We have some supplementary planning guidance for the waterfront, which is a much more important document than the master plan itself. It sits inside the island plan, and the inspector was very clear that that document, the SPG for the waterfront, carries a lot of weight, and nothing that we've done so far goes against that supplementary planning guidance. But the main concept of the original master plan was a whole build, the whole thing almost in one hit, if you like. But the financial circumstances of the downturn across the entire globe haven't allowed that to happen. There have been other issues, and what we've done is started to develop piecemeal. We've got a number of offices passed. We're building one at the moment. The second one will start to be built very shortly. And I think what we want to do here is just to make sure that everything that is in the master plan, if it does need to be changed, is changed, so that document becomes as powerful as the supplementary planning guidance, and we all move forward together, everybody with confidence.
But do you think this piecemeal building has led to a disappointing waterfront when there were such big expectations for it?
Well, it was never going to be done in 5 minutes, and I accept that we are doing it a bit more piecemeal than the original master plan allowed for. But it's very fortunate that we're building anything at all. Given the downturn in the economy, it's still wonderful that we've had people with the confidence to come forward and commit to moving onto the site. I was there only this week looking at building number 4. Everybody can now see it. It's looking really good, and there's lots more good things to come there. We've got a building next door which is passed, which we know will be starting quite shortly. And I think confidence will start to build as we see structures coming out of the ground. But you're right, there's a long way to go, and it's only as we recover from this financial downturn that we will start to see more and more going on the waterfront.
In other news,